listening to PTO Insights, a series focused on spotlighting operational insights from startups to businesses to professionals making an impact. And in this episode, we're speaking with Anna Macias Waters, an experienced business systems analyst with a solid background in human resources, change management, and project management. So Anna brings a wealth of expertise to any organizations with skills in navigating complex systems, driving organizational change, and optimizing HR processes to meet business objectives. So Anna, welcome.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So in our 15-minute discussion today, you'll hear Anna's insights about system analytics and what it takes for someone to get started on their own. We'll discuss the modern business process, new project management techniques, and how to better harmonize with AI. So let's dive in. Anna, I believe you started in human resources around 2008. What inspired you to pursue a career in HR and specifically as an analyst and kind of organizational management like as a whole? What inspired that?
Yeah, so believe it or not, as a kid, I wanted to be an attorney. And quickly that changed. And so I started pursuing business. I landed my first HR role in a small department store in the middle of nowhere in the East Coast. And that really was the driving and launching force. I was in my early 20s, fresh out of college. I think I was still finishing up my undergrad at that time. And it really got me thinking about my pursue in HR. And that was really the catapult to starting HR, believe it or not. And then through there, it sort of evolved, just having different opportunities. It snowballed. And you know, I do a lot of work in a nonprofit organization as well in HR. And it's kind of a fit. I've tried to run away from it and it always follows me. It's a strong skill that I have. So yeah, that's sort of the genesis of my HR career.
I love that. What did you run away to? Where'd you go?
I tried to run away in different avenues. It just never really worked. I always found myself back in the human aspect of it. And I love it, honestly. I love the human piece of human resources. Later on, I think we'll probably talk about what I'm doing now, but I work in people and culture, and the people aspect is really the most important piece for me and what I do and serving people in HR.
I love that. I love that you have a passion for it and it kind of shows. So speaking of your passion, you have a master's in organizational leadership, which is pretty impressive. And how has that influenced your roles? Like, you went to people analyst, like you mentioned, people and culture, of course, the HR background, and then the project management. Like, how did that fit?
Actually, it fits perfectly in what I do and the positions that I'm in. I do a lot of organizational change through leadership, and it has influenced almost every role that I have in some aspect, even in project management. I think I may have saw this on one of your blurbs on Instagram, just looking at processes and the things that you have to look at. And it's a lot when you start looking at change and organizational and just the culture of a position that you're in. So it's influenced all of my roles. Honestly, I'm glad to have had that foundation. I actually went back for my master's degree later in life. And so I think, more of an appreciation and foundation of what it takes to work with people and to look at change and to look at organizations. When you're young, I think you're sometimes, most of the times, inexperienced. So going back when you're older, you have a different perspective and how you're able to apply what you're learning in the positions that you're in.
Yeah, I really agree because when you're younger, there's something about you have a solution in your mind. You're like, oh, let's just implement it. But over time, you realize it takes time and people are different and they respond differently. And the biggest obstacle is getting everybody on board and has nothing to do with the solution almost.
Absolutely. And change is hard, right? I heard once, if you love change and people say I love it, well, drive different every day on the way home or eat breakfast differently every day, right? After a while, we're very much creatures of habit. And so doing that change and that's a big part of my role. So I'm always trying to champion and get those on board who are excited about it. And then keep the ball rolling and how is it going to improve people's lives by doing this implementation or this improvement.
I love that. Like I said, just drive differently, eat a different breakfast. I can imagine. Okay, well, Last year, you led a significant initiative at the University of California, Berkeley, go Bears, focused on improving operational efficiency. So, what inspired you to take on these projects, and how has your perspective, like over 15 years, we're talking about that, like how did it guide you as you did these initiatives?
Yeah, I actually was on a different interview today, and I had that question actually come up of, what type of environment do you like to work in? And I would say that I thrive in this ever changing environment. I know I said change management is hard and change, but these projects have really been just that. We've had to really take things from the ground up and look at things. Implementation isn't always the easiest. I was a part of about 6 campuses going live off of an old legacy system. So you have individuals working in a system for about 20 years, and now you're throwing automation, you're throwing different pages, the layout's completely different. So that all excited me, honestly. It was something that we had to build out. It had never been done before. It was a huge undertaking. We were looking at 10 campuses and 3 medical centers, over 230,000 employees. When you look at the UCs as a whole, I think you're a UC alum, it's massive, right? And just the impact in the community, in the state of California, it was a multi-billion-dollar project that was undertaking. So that excited me in itself, and knowing this is the first thing of this nature that's going to happen. I want to be a part of it. And so it thrilled me, honestly, and it still thrills me to think of all the projects that we have going on. So I like the challenge. I'm up for the challenge.
I'm going to dig in there a little bit because, like you said, 10 campuses, medical
Three
sites.
medical centers. I
Wow.
spent about 8 months traveling. At that time, I lived in SoCal, back and forth to the Bay Area for
Wow.
different campuses being there. It was like clockwork. I'd fly out every Monday, and I'd
Hmm.
spend a couple days there, do the project management piece, a team about 10 plus individuals, worked with IT, worked with different software engineers and all of that. And then Friday I would fly home, and sometimes I'd have to fly back on Sundays. So I was a frequent flyer. I racked up tons of points. Marriott points and Southwest points, was A-lister, just because the project, was all hands. Yeah, great opportunity, great experience.
Wow. I mean, that's like almost a consultant life, traveling
Mhm.
that many
Mhm.
days a week and getting in. Just a quick pivot here. The question: how do you get into the mindset of someone who's been working 22 years, like you said, seeing the same layout, thinking through this process? Like, what was your process thinking through their process?
I think that it was trying to keep the excitement alive. It is get overwhelming sometimes knowing what's ahead. There's a little saying like, you can't eat the elephant all in one day. You have to take it. I think Shel Silverstein writes that you have to eat it piece by piece. And so
Yeah.
it was definitely that approach. It wasn't this linear. It was very phased. We had to consider our stakeholders, the voice of the customers, and then moving along each section, just looking at the business process needs, where are the gaps. It was a compilation of a lot of things. It wasn't just done overnight. Rome wasn't built overnight. Same thing with this. It took years of working and collaborating. But through that, I think the experience was unreplaceable, honestly. And if you ask me if I'd do it all over again, I would. And the mindset that I had to have was really, I'm here for this end game. I saw what the end result was going to be. And that's what kept me going every day, of knowing where we were going to end up. And then after that, just the process that we still have to follow. So it was exciting. It thrilled me.
Yeah. You have a passion, like you saw the vision, the strategy, the why, and then you executed. That's like amazing. Speaking of the vision, technology is changing, as you know, really rapid. The entire
Yes.
knowledge worker industry is seeing this shift due to AI and even cybersecurity. And there's like IoT. There's a ton of stuff happening right now. Automation everywhere. Where do you think business analysts, people analysts, like people in culture, where do you think that's going? And like how would you stay competitive knowing things are just like moving?
I think that's such an interesting question, because I've seen such different approaches of people not wanting to enter in that realm, and then you have others who are full fledged in AI. I don't look at it as a threat. I think that in the position that I'm in, there's always still going to have to be some capacity of that human aspect. I look at it as it being sort of a champion that I can use, and I really
Mhm.
do use, and how we are able to interview. Of course, it's not perfect. I'm not running everything and vetting everything through AI because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't think we've really understand what's in that black box and what we shoot out of it. So I think using it for its capacity now is great. I don't think that, like I said, I don't feel like it's a threat for the positions that we're in. If anything, I think we're always striving to automate things, to improve things. And I see it as a tool that can help us in that direction.
Nice. I love automation as a tool. I see it in a similar way. What's your favorite AI tool at the moment?
So, right now, because we're sort of limited with governance and where I work, I've only really dove into the chat GBT. But let me just tell you that even streamlining some of the things that we do and looking at processes has been fantastic. And I am eager to get my hands on other AI equipments and just being able to understand them and how we can use them in our process, because automation is where it really is going. If we can serve our customers more efficiently and get recruitments done and just projects done quicker, it's a win-win for our customers, our stakeholders, and us as a whole.
Yeah. And when you think about your customers, your stakeholders, even like you said, traveling back and forth, a team of 10 people looking all around, how do you accomplish your goals and stay connected with your community? Because you're very engaged with the community. I've seen you on LinkedIn and but like you're doing so much. How do you stay connected?
It's a balance. It is. Having LinkedIn as sort of another social platform, like you mentioned, and staying in the community. I just think it's really important, though. I can tell you that LinkedIn has presented a ton of opportunities for me, and connecting with even leadership that I would never get that FaceTime with. So I think it's a valuable tool to use to promote your accolades and the things that you're able to accomplish, especially when you work on a project of this scale. I think that it's a great tool that you can use to stay connected, honestly, and to build that community, like you said.
I know a lot of us, myself included, LinkedIn kind of has this kind of sense that it's professional, but like, what can you post? I've seen you post things. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But like, would I have done that? Like, you just post pictures sometimes. I'm like, here's me and the team getting together. And I like,
Mhm.
just for tips, like, what would you tell someone they should post? Top three things they should post on their LinkedIn and like to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, I think it's nice to be relatable sometimes, right? I think one of my earlier posts when we were in the pandemic was just like, "Hey, this is what my new office looks like." And I think it was a photo of me and my roommate's lunch, right? We all want to be relatable and share those stories. So I definitely think that's the top of the priority. Also, to use it to build your professional network. Go in, see what people are doing. I think it's a way to uplift people as well. Give a thumbs up or a high five that they're starting the new position. And then ultimately a way to share your accomplishments that you're doing in your business life professionally, whether you're getting certifications, you're going back to school, really just putting yourself out there. So when you are looking for a job, you're not just trying to play catch up of like, what has she been doing for the last couple of years? I can tell you that I've had a ton of traction on it, and just building that network. And recruiters look at that. They sort of, now when you're looking at candidates, you kind of want the whole picture, right? Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
great. You're a business system analyst. Yes, you have all this education stuff, but what else do you like to do? How are you going to be a good fit for the team? And I think that's a good way of showing too of that you are more than just your job. I think I read a great post by Calvin, and he had said that like we are so much more than just our job. And so I think sometimes sharing things that can connect you to other people is really important.
Yes. Thinking of like the wisdom of staying connected, being authentic and relatable, like being more than our jobs. What are any like parting words you want to tell the viewers or listeners?
Yeah, I think that, we're in an ever changing world. But I think that there are lots of amazing opportunities out there. And I would love to say, take the risks. When I was doing a lot of the project management work, I wasn't an analyst yet. And I knew that taking that position was going to give me the experience. So sometimes you get these wonderful opportunities that take the risk sometimes, especially when you're younger. You have that grace to do so, and work really hard, and take every opportunity that you can and just learn from it. That's what I've really have gained working for the UC in the past 7 years. And you just never know what door will open for you and what door you can walk through.
Very great words to leave them with. So that will conclude our conversation with you, Anna. Thank you so much. You gave us an inside look on your years of experience in HR, being a business systems analyst, even almost seeming like a traveling consultant for a little bit there. So we covered ways that folks can get started in their career in the space, what changes in the modern business processes and what like AI can mean for us, and then how to stay connected while pursuing your career and keeping your community informed. So Anna, your story is inspiring to listeners and professionals alike, your insights and your openness and your perseverance. And I'm thankful that you're here. So appreciate you sharing your stories. This is PTO Insights, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Crystal.